this is Eternal Blade here, and welcome back to part 3 of the stairs tutorial. So in today's lesson we'll cover how to create the handrail mounting bracket, which you can see here. It's a pretty cool little bit here, a little bit of organic modeling, a little bit of hard surface modeling, some screws and whatnot. So that's kind of what we're going to cover today. So without further ado, let's jump right in and I'll show you how it goes, and you can create your own and follow along. So let's go. So let's begin by first making a simple box here in the front viewport. Right, something like that ought to do. And go ahead and convert that to an editable poly. Select all of the outside edges here and chamfer them. And we're going to want to make a pretty big chamfer, something about here ought to do fine. And go ahead and select this front face here and control click the edges and chamfer those and give them a pretty large chamfer, something like that ought to do fine. Alright, and you can actually go ahead and delete the back faces, we won't be needing that. Alright, next, so we're following this image right here, so we're gonna make this little shape right now. So let's just go ahead and start. So a box, auto grid, and just go ahead and kind of make a general shape, kind of like so. Alright, now we're only going to make half of it, so go ahead and convert it to an editable poly and delete that side as well as the back. And let's add a bit of extra geometry here, so connect it 5 times, it should be good for now. And go in the front viewport here. And let's go ahead and just edit this shape to where it sort of makes a nice curve. Now you can look up shapes similar to these. They don't have to be exactly the same, but just make sure you get something pretty close. Alright, so let's just go ahead and raise this guy up here a little bit. Maybe bring this one out just a bit, and we're going to go ahead and add 2 more segments in here. Alright, just like that. Go ahead and bring these guys out to make kind of a shape like that. That is basically what we want to have. Maybe go in here to perspective and just chamfer this guy out a little bit just to round it off. Alright, go ahead and apply a symmetry modifier to this, and we're just going to move the gizmo over a little bit and flip it. So just like that ought to do. Alright, there we go, and convert it to an editable poly again. Alright, maybe just a bit down more. Alright, something like that looks pretty good. And go ahead and grab this guy and this guy, and we're just going to chamfer those a little bit just to round out the edges. Alright, that looks pretty much perfect. Again, this is going to be a tiny little detail, so I'm not too worried about anything here. And let's actually just shrink it down in there a little bit. Something like that ought to do fine. Now let's go ahead and make the little stem portion that comes out of it. So I guess we can actually make it directly from the geometry here. Well, no, we don't want to do that. Let's just build a box, something like that ought to do, and convert it to an editable poly. And then let's see here, we're going to give it 3 connections and press R and go ahead and scale those out and deselect the top and the bottom and scale it out a little more. And then let's go ahead and just connect these guys once. Okay, press R and just go ahead and scale it out. Deselect the middles, and then we're going to just chamfer the top. No, we're not going to chamfer the top for now. We're going to leave it as is, as the Turbosmooth will take care of most of that. So let's grab these guys here and simply extrude them straight out. Press R and scale them down, but make sure you don't get rid of too much height. And go ahead and bring them up a little bit and rotate them a bit, something like that. Alright, and maybe you do a bit more of a scale. Okay, go ahead and extrude it again. So we're just going to bring it out quite far this time, and something like that, and then go ahead and rotate it to be basically 90 degrees up and down. Alright, looks good. Go ahead and extrude it like so, and then do another extrusion kind of like that, and then we're going to do one more, something like that. Now, let's grab these polygons here and deselect these and extrude these along the local normal. Alright, something like that. Go ahead and hit apply and continue, and then do it again and make one small one. Perfect. And then for this bit over here, let's select all the end polygons. You can use Q. And how do I want to go about this? Let's actually just grab these guys here and extrude them down. Actually, we're going to extrude these just by group. Okay, and then in the left-hand viewport, go ahead and just move these vertices in, something like that. Ought to do fine. Alright, looks pretty good. Now, just make sure we go ahead and delete the backs of these polygons here, just so they don't turbo smooth away. Alright, now let's go ahead and apply our Turbosmooth modifier. Alright, one iteration should be about good. Alright, so let's do a bit of cleanup here. Let's see, so maybe grab this edge, and we're just going to bring it up a little bit. Grab these guys and bring them up a tad. Alright, and then let's go here, connect, and just slide it over this way a bit, just to get a bit of a harder edge over there. Alright, there we go. And that should about do it for that section. Maybe though we want to select the outer edge here, press R, and just scale them up a bit. Alright, and then grab the vertices here, these three, and move them outward just to give it kind of a bulge there. Alright, there we go. Just make the shape a little bit better. And I want to say that up here, let's go ahead and flatten the top out a little bit. Something like that. Excellent. And the last little thing, just to make it a little bit better, let's go ahead and grab this edge here, loop, shift drag it back a little bit, press R, and just go ahead and scale it outward a bit. Okay? And that way, when you turbo smooth it, you're going to kind of have that flare where it kind of comes out together. Alright, and now let's grab this guy here, and we're just going to select all of these front-facing polygons. So I guess the easiest way is just do this, and then deselect the back-facing ones. Alright, and go ahead and bevel these, I guess. A very tiny bevel. Okay, something like that. Let's go ahead and save. Alright, and now we need to cut out some holes here. So let's go ahead and go to our front viewport with auto grid on, and we're going to line it up right about here and make the holes about this big. Alright, Now press W, and we're just going to shift drag that over. Okay, so looks pretty good to me. And then move these up. Okay, and just make sure that both these guys intersect that. Now on the front viewport, let's go ahead and grab one of these and just center it and put it into position right here on the bottom. Alright, now I realize now that our bottom is a bit too big, so let's just go ahead and edit this. So we're just going to scale it in a little bit, something like that. It actually does kind of come out a little bit. Alright, and maybe go ahead and just scale these guys in the local just to be a bit bigger individually. Okay, something like that should do fine. Now go to your compound objects, Pro Boolean, and just pick these three shapes. And that'll basically cut the holes out that we need. Now let's go ahead and go to your standard primitives and recreate those cylinders we just took out. We probably should have saved them, but you know, life goes on. Alright, something like that ought to do. We don't need any of the height segments there. And let's just press W and front viewport. Something like that. You don't want it to fit exactly. You want it to be a bit smaller. And then bring it out a little bit. Okay, something like that should do fine. And I think we're actually just going to cheat with these screws. I mean, these are going to be such small details that won't really matter. So just do something like that. Press E, A for angle snap, and rotate it 90 degrees. Go into your front viewport here and just line these up approximately. Okay. And then what we need to do is just sink them down a little bit, something like that ought to do, and convert them to an editable poly. And let's actually, well, no, we don't really need to even do that. Alright, so grab this guy, go to your compound objects, Pro Boolean, and just pick these two things. Alright, there we have it, nice little screw. Alright, and go ahead and shift drag that over. Okay, and shift drag it down here. And go ahead and align it. Alright, there we go. So now we've kind of got our screws there. Next what we need to do is make the little piece that connects up here. So let's go into our front viewport here and make a box. Alright, something like this ought to do. Convert it to an editable poly. Grab these and connect it 3 times, I think should do the trick. Press R and control click vertices and shrink these in. Oops, watch out there. Alright, and just move these down. Alright, now with just the middle edge selected, let's go ahead and chamfer this quite a few times just to even it out. And then go ahead and select the vertices here. Drag them down, press R, and just scale them out a little bit. And actually, you know what we can do is select all of these edges, and then we'll chamfer these at the same time. That way we can get some quite nice results. So you'll have something like that, which is close to what we want. And then just drag these out just a little bit. Okay? So let's maneuver that and put that into position. So this is going to actually go in line with this guy. So I want to say that this guy's a little bit too long, so let's drag that back just a bit. And then maybe move that down just back to where we originally had it. And we'll just go ahead and bring that up. Alright, and let's see, this needs to go basically to the top, so we do need to adjust this a little bit. Maybe 3 of those. Alright, something like that. And then go ahead and adjust your vertices so they don't squish all together. Alright, so just move them out. That should do pretty well. Depending on the size of the handrail, we can adjust these as necessary. So maybe we'll actually bring that in even more. So let's grab this guy and just shrink it in just until it matches. Alright, now grab this, click one of these guys right here and ring it, and then connect it with let's see, I think 3 segments should work the best. Go into your top view here and let's select these 3 and these 3, press R and scale them out, and grab just the middle guy here and scale it out a little bit. Alright, so we're just trying to get that sort of shape right there. And now let's go ahead and let's see here. We don't need to cut a hole in this since you won't really see it. Let's apply a chamfer modifier. And we're gonna give it a little chamfer and maybe bring this up to something like 85, just so we only chamfer the edges that actually matter. And give it a tension of about 0.5. And there we go. Now we've got a nice transition there. And then we could do a Turbosmooth as well, just to make it nice and smooth for us. Alright, and I'm guessing that we probably want to have just some of these guys, so let's go to the left-hand viewport here. W, shift drag them, E, and rotate them 90 degrees, and then just bring them right up into here. Alright, something like that. And again, you're not going to see these, so I'm not overly worried about their exact positioning. Alright, something like that looks pretty good. And shift drag it to the other side. Alright, and there we go. So we've got that portion. And then let's go ahead and work on the handrails. So the handrails are not exactly perfectly straight. So the way they work is, if this is going to be our overall handrail, something like that, alright, we'll go the other way. The bottom few segments here, so if we convert this to an editable poly, right here, these are going to be flat, basically, okay? And if we drag this up, you can see kind of what we've got, and that flat portion is what's going to go over a flat portion on here, so we can adjust the size as necessary. So from here I can see that everything we've done is a bit short, so let's just go ahead and change it to where it fits. Okay, so we have that. Let's go ahead and grab this guy here and just press R and scale it out a bit. Alright, something like that ought to do the trick. Alright, so we have this, and now we need to, I think, make it a bit smaller actually. That seems almighty big. And actually that handrail I think is just way too large. So we're just gonna shrink that back down. And maybe just redo this a little bit. Alright. Maybe bring it back a little bit. Shrink this down a bit more. It's just a matter of playing with the shapes until you get about the right size. I mean, you can measure these as well, which is probably what I should have done. But honestly, I'm kind of having fun just doing my own thing. Alright, and grab this and this, and maybe scale it out a bit more. And grab the corners here and scale them in a bit. Alright, something like that. And that. And if we bring this over top, now we kind of got a nice little handrail there. And that'll continue all the way up the top. Now the other thing is at the top of the handrail it kind of curves over like this. Now to get something like that, what we're going to want to do is basically grab your handrail and let's pretend it goes out over here. Let's select this polygon here, and then you're going to want to do a hinge from edge, alright? And then pick your hinge as being, you know, one of these two guys right here. So we'll do this one as an example. And then just do 45. Okay. Oops, my bad. 45. There we go. And then you can just extrude right from there. And your handrail will be perfect. Or if you want to do even more, you can just move that along the local axis. And then you can change it. But for some reason, actually, it didn't want to work. How odd. Well, either way, that's how I would do it, like that. But, so what we can do here is, let's see. Well, I press W. Oops, cancel that. Huh. I want to extrude it, but I feel like that won't give us what we want. So I really want to do is just move it like that, but you can't exactly do it. So maybe bring it like this, press R and scale it back up to where it was. Okay. And once you have that, we can go ahead and grab this portion right here, and that'll extrude it basically right back into the wall. So we probably need to have a bit more of a turn than that. Alright, something like that should hopefully do the trick. And then we can extrude that into the wall. Alright, so that will about cover it for the how to model a handrail portion. Once we get to the final assembly stage, we'll kind of combine all these things we have right here into the actual handrail itself. So I will see you guys then. I hope you guys have learned something in this tutorial. It was a pretty quick one, but always a few tips and tricks you can pick up. So I will see you guys in the next part, and as always, happy modeling.